Porsha just gave a master class to the new Atlanta girls on how to do a successful interview, you guys. Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. So, today we are talking Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 17. We are in the reunion stages, and I don't think I even did a review yet for the reunion because I am back here because there's so much going on the social media of it all, you guys. You got Kelly, who is selling, I guess, the standard t-shirts, and she's using fraudula as a coupon code. I'm here to tell you, you can do messy codes initially to try to sell your merch, to try to sell your product, but long term, if you're basing people buying sales based off of them not liking Angela, long term, that's not going to be a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you there has to be something else. Why can't it just be a standard 10 or 20% off? Why couldn't you use your name, Kelly? Or were you not anticipating as many sales? Make it make sense. Please make it make sense. And she only showed like about 20 or so odd email confirmations. So was it limited edition that sold out? You know what I'm saying? Like when people say sold out, what was your queue? Was your queue 5,000 or 50? You know what I'm saying? Was it 5 or 500? Like what was sold out? So that's on that. But into the Porsha of it all, she had a fantastic interview that she did with Entertainment Tonight. And I felt she gave a master class. I forgot. I was looking at the guy that was interviewing her, and it's been so long since I've seen him. I didn't know that he's grown facial hair now. No. He's grown facial hair. He looks different. I was like, is this a new guy? And I realized it was the same guy who's been doing these housewives interviews on Entertainment Tonight. But first and foremost, it's about a 20-minute interview. You know what I'm saying? But I thoroughly enjoyed the interview completely. First off, Porsha was asked about Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. She was asked, you know what I'm saying, how she felt that the ladies might have felt about her. She said she feels like she might have been the kid sister, you know what I'm saying, that livened everything up. She said all of the ladies at one point or another got a kick out of Porsha and were very fascinated by Porsha. I think Porsha, say what you say with the storylines or whatever the case might be on the show, but I think Porsha as a person just genuinely has that bubbly personality. It's going to say goofy stuff. It's going to have you intrigued and kind of want to be her friend and kind of want to party with her, kind of want to hang with her. And I feel like the other housewives from the other franchises got that vibe because we already know Porsha's friends in real life with Kyle Richards from Beverly Hills, and she's friends in real life with Giselle from Potomac, right? And so ultimately, she was asked about, you know, Vicki Gunvalson, like, how was Vicki as the show progressed? Because it seems like at the beginning, she's just like complaining about everything, like, But Porsha said that she understands that Vicki is a boss, and she's going to talk about that insurance and you needing insurance until the end. She's going to be promoting her business, but she said that the most surprising cast member of the season for a positive is at some point mid-season, Vicki Gunvalson, you know what I'm saying, switches from not wanting to be here, not wanting anything to do with the show or these housewives, to then a switch goes off to where you see the Vicki that people were expecting, right? Then also, she was asked about her run-in with Luann, because there's a scene where she gets Luann together that is in the trailer, and she was like, listen, I had to tap Luann's hand just one time about something, because she was on my last nerve about something, but we're cool, we're good, we talked it out. But she said that she loves Luann, but it was just that one tap that she had to get her together about. She said that as far as other ladies, that she knows that a lot of people have issues with Lisa, aka Baby Gorgeous, but she said that even she got in the ring and defended Baby Gorgeous a couple of times, or whatever the case may be, and that there is a thing, which I believe they talked about on Watch What Happens Live, that Lisa and Giselle had a thing, or whatever the case, like they weren't getting along about something, so we will see that play out as well. Then also, she said too, I'm trying to think who else. They were trying to ask who had the messiest city, what city it was the messiest, or had the most drama. And so Porsha really named like all the East Coast locations, like basically Miami, Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? It was going down, right? It was going down. She said that New York probably was the most like sisterhood, but really Miami and Atlanta threw down. And she said the thing of it wasn't even like the host city that was causing all the drama in some of the instances. Like even in the Atlanta date, that there was a lot of back and forth. There was some stuff going on with the OGs of Atlanta, but she said that there was a lot of stuff that went on with Potomac as well as Salt Lake City. And she said Salt Lake City was getting into it in a few locations that, you know what I'm saying, that wasn't even, she said, wait a second, like what are we doing? Because she said she had to get her hat in the ring against, you know, defending Baby Gorgeous at one of the events, because she's like, we're not about to do this, because Porsha said she was hosting the Atlanta event and she did not see all the drama. So she's excited to see the Atlanta episodes because she thinks that there's going to be scenes in there that she was not privy to, and is going to be entertained by all of that. But it seems like she had a really good time at the Ultimate Girls Trip and thought it was a lot of fun and everything else. So I'm excited for that. They also asked as well, you know, what was it like with Porsha filming with NENE? And Porsha really just had high praises for NENE Leakes. You know what I'm saying? Felt as though that the show would not be right. The show would not make sense without NENE Leakes being a part of it and without NENE Leakes receiving her flowers. Then Porsha was asked as well, how does she feel about NENE Leakes potentially coming back to Real Housewives of Atlanta as a peach holder and all of the case may be. And basically Porsha was like, listen, looky here. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I would love to have her back. You know what I'm saying? She said, ultimately, with Real Housewives of Atlanta, everybody's an ensemble cast. She said, right now, there's a couple of birds that are chirping. You know what I'm saying? Trying to, you know, start mess, start drama. I think she's referring to Kelly and SHAMEA. She didn't say any names, but that's who really keeps messing with her, right? And so she says, you know, even when NENE left the show, there were birds chirping at her. There were people who kept coming for her, keep coming for the queen, and all of this and all of that. And so she said that she thinks, she was asked if NENE would fit into this cast. And so Porsha was like, well, listen, look at here. You know, I think NENE would fit in. I think if anybody tries to chirp at her or tries to come for her, NENE's going to get them together. NENE's going to gather them up together, especially these new girls. And then she was asked about Andy Cohen saying, you know, what do you think of him saying that the cast is going to stay how it is? And he was happy with the group. Now, this is interesting because remember, Cynthia Bailey just said on her podcast that they're still working on casting. That, you know, yes, Andy said that they have a group, but they're still testing some people, allegedly, potentially for a peach, potentially for a friend of role, because they're always trying to look at other chemistry, you know, scenes with other housewives or other potential housewives. So Porsha said she agrees that she likes the group for the most part. She said the thing is with the group, she said you have strong people and you have the weakest link. You have strong people, you have the weakest link. I caught that shade. And ultimately, what happens is the stronger people, you know, they might have to put in more work. They might have to show you how it's done, you know, with the Housewives brand and everything else. So I found that pretty interesting. But Porsha said, listen, nobody's bigger than the program. This is an ensemble cast, all of this and all of that. So ultimately, that is where that is, right? So it sounds like, you know, with the exception of the, you know, issue with SHAMEA, it sounds like Porsha's fine with the cast, right? And really, Porsha is hoping that people can move forward because it's supposed to be based off of a sisterhood. It's not supposed to be holding grudges and dragging things out forever and ever and ever. And she feels as though ultimately there are a couple people who are not being genuine in the cast that need to understand how housewives work. Porsha said that she's really happy and she's living her life and she's only going to entertain the people who love her and like her for her, right? So then from there, she was asked about, Kelly. Kelly apparently muting her name and Porsha's name and Drew Sidora's name on her Instagram accounts. And Porsha was like, oh, I don't think that's good for her algorithm. I think she needs to add our names back. But that's how, I like how quick-witted Porsha is. She's turning it into something funny, something positive, all the things. I love that answer and that response from Porsha. That absolutely was hilarious. Then she was also asked as well, about Kelly continuing to insert herself into everyone's storyline, everyone's conversation at the reunion. And she basically said, that is somebody who, maybe that's Kelly's role on the show. Maybe that is what her role is to continue to, shout and yell over people and everything else to try to have the attention on themselves. And I thought it was hilarious. Maybe she's a court gesture. Maybe she's a court gesture, and she is the one that keeps, shouting and everything else at the people. And she said, you don't have to be the joke. You can actually be a boss. It is really the audacity. It is the audacity. But yeah, she basically said maybe Kelly, if she just has to yell all the time and just keep drama going, maybe that's what she feels that her role is on the show and nothing else. Porsha, oh, that was funny. That absolutely was hilarious, right? So then Porsha talked about the fact that, yes, you may get screen time initially if you continue to go at the head of the snake or the top people at the show, the top main cast members of the show, that, yeah, you'll get screen time initially. But if you do not have an individual storyline that is going to captivate the audience, that the audience is going to be interested in you, then you're not going to last on the show. And I found that pretty interesting with Porsha saying that, because people are trying to spread false narratives that Porsha is using Kelly and SHAMEA as her storyline, but it's actually the opposite. Kelly and SHAMEA are using Porsha as their storyline, and SHAMEA is also using Angela Oakley and Drew Sidora as a storyline as well. And if you are just using them as storylines and not giving us much about your life, it's not going to end well for you, because eventually you're going to have to show us why you are a housewife. And if your whole time that we're seeing you in episodes is you just coming after Porsha or coming after Angela Oakley or things like that, how are you supposed to last on the show long term, right? And so then from there, Porsha also was asked about, the SHAMEA of it all. So she was asked about some other reunion questions. She was asked, first of all, about, where things stand with her and SHAMEA. She did not say SHAMEA's name. She did not acknowledge SHAMEA, even though there was about 2 or 3 SHAMEA questions. Porsha said, listen, I am around the people who genuinely love me, who genuinely support me. I am in a happy place. I've got a lot of happy things going on in my life. If you know what I'm saying? If you are not on that type of time, we're not interacting. But she said all the people she's hanging around at this point in her life are the people that are going to, embrace her happiness and embrace who she is and everything else. Then also she was asked about bringing up the mom situation, right? And how K.MICHELLE had revealed that SHAMEA and her mom were apparently at the club calling Porsha and her mom Jezebels. Porsha said, for her, she thinks that it is wrong to bring the moms onto the show. She said that their moms are not cast members of the show. She said that her mom, she doesn't play about her mom, and she doesn't play about PJ. And she said, ultimately, you know, they're making a sacrifice as well to film scenes for the show and be a part of the storyline. She said that there's been times productions asked a lot this season, I guess, to get something out. I guess they were trying to look for something messy with Porsha's Mama Diane. And this is why I love Mama Diane Dion. I love Porsha's mom's, oh my gosh, Dion, because it sounded like Porsha was implying that perhaps they were trying to get a soundbite out of Mama Diane that was going to be messy towards SHAMEA or messy towards SHAMEA's mom or whatever the case may be, and it got shut down. And see, this is the different SHAMEA where you're up here bringing your mom at the Nanas and Chicken and Waffles opening that was really a closed business, hoping to have a back and forth with Porsha. And since Porsha wasn't there, you decided to have your mom around there with Drew Sidora, only to continue shading Drew Sidora. So ultimately, you know, Porsha said that her mom's reaction to everything that's unfolded, she's going to keep private. She's not on the show. She's not a cast member. She's not getting paid, all of this and all of that. But she feels as though, you know, any of these other relatives didn't ask to be on the show, and she never wanted any of this to be brought onto the show. And I'm going to remind y'all again, it was a SHAMEA that brought up the moms first in that scene last season with Cynthia Bailey, and things have snowballed from there, and it was SHAMEA once again this season that brought up the moms when Porsha was paying her dust for 13 episodes. So that was that on that, you guys. And then I'm trying to think if there was any other reunion questions that she said on that. That was pretty much it. They talked about the scene with her daughter telling her she needs to squeeze in her belly, that she's her belly showing for their pictures. She started laughing and she said it always will be your own kids that say something. They asked Porsha what her favorite sayings were, if she had like a Mount Rushmore. So she said, Buy Ashy. She said she doesn't know why she hasn't thought of coming out with Buy Ashy lotion by now. She said also 265 days a year. Also, they were bringing up your whole daughter, your hoe daughter. I thought they were going to bring up the wrong road. Porsha also likes when she said slut from the 90s. And so there's like a few nuggets in there, and also the Underground Railroad. She said, I didn't know this. She said when she said 265 days a year, but she said that some of these quotes make her shmoney, make her money, make her De Niro. She said when she saw it first air about the 265 days a year, that she called NENE and Cynthia on three-way, and she was in tears. She was crying. She was like, they're going to think I'm so dumb, that I'm so stupid, and this and that. And Porsha says that she says a lot of things that she doesn't even think anything of it, but basically is able to laugh it off and brush it off and all of the things. She also was asked about, you know, what her business goals or plans are and all this and all that, where she sees herself. And so Porsha wants to be a billionaire, and that's been something that she has really been trying to speak into existence for the past couple of years and make happen for herself. She said Go Naked has surpassed over 10 million in sales. She said Pampered by Porsha is also a multi-million-dollar business. She also said that she is creating a full-on lifestyle brand. So there's going to be more Porsha in the future. So I am excited to see what that means. I know she also has a thing with Meaningful Beauty as well. So I am curious to see what else Porsha is going to have down the pike. She was also asked about K.MICHELLE, where things stand with her and K.MICHELLE. She said K.MICHELLE by name, but she didn't say K.MICHELLE. She just said Michelle. But she said that, you know, every time I leave a situation with K.MICHELLE, I think we're good, or I think we've come to an understanding, but then the next time, you know, she sees or interacts with her, it's something else. So she said that the only way she's going to know is how things are with her and K.MICHELLE is next season, whenever it's a group scene or whenever they have their first scenes together. She's going to have to see what K.MICHELLE's demeanor is, because basically Porsha was the one that said on Carlos King she got on the wrong team, she was down the wrong road, And the host was even like, it looks like K.MICHELLE has had a realization at this reunion that maybe the route she was going was not the right route, and having, a revelation that, some of these housewives that she decided to pledge allegiance to were not the right housewives to pledge allegiance to. Porsha was also asked about Drew Sidora. How does she feel? Like, does she feel that her and Drew will continue to be friends and not have another falling out? And Porsha said she loves Drew, and she said she even loved Drew when they had their falling out last season. So I found that to be very interesting. But she says she loves Drew down. She said when she gets back to Atlanta that they're supposed to meet up for drinks. They're supposed to meet up for drinks and have a little bit of a powwow. So that'll be interesting as well. I don't know if the powwow is going to be in relation to season 18 or potential casting stuff or whatever the case may be. So then as well, Porsha was asked about Simon. And Porsha said, listen, look at here, TMZ has the real court documents of what took place. And ultimately, if you can comprehend, if you could do math, if you understand numbers, then you're fully aware of what actually happened. And she said that, and she was asked, how do you feel about everything being public? And she said, well, she has an ex-husband that likes to publicize everything, that loves, putting everything on the internet. And she said, ultimately, she wishes him well. If he is telling the people that he won something, then good for him. But she knows what the facts are. The courts made the decision that they made about the judgment, about the settlement and everything else. So that is the true documents, is basically what Porsha's got to say on that. Porsha also was asked as well about Dennis the Menace. And she said right now, Dennis is not being a menace. And she said as long as they're able to focus on co-parenting PJ, they have a good relationship. But when it is other mess, that is when the relationship is not good. So it sounds like they might be in a better place right now as long as the focus is on PJ. And I'm trying to think if there was anything else that Porsha talked about as well in this interview. I believe that was it. I believe the main thing she also wanted to talk about was, that the reunion is supposed to be a place where you're supposed to talk about everything that's occurred during the season and then have a resolution so that you can go into season 18 with a clean slate, and whatever the drama is in season 18 is based off of season 18, is not carry over from season 17 or season 16. So she said that she is fine moving forward with 99% of the cast. So that tells me that potentially there might be one specific person that she's not trying to move forward with, and that is on that. But I feel like that was pretty much the interview. I don't know why this video is longer than Porsha's interview, but I thought Porsha really gave a masterclass on how to do an interview, how not to give too much, still leave enough for people to want to watch the show and see what happens at the reunion. She did not give anything away as far as what's going to happen on the reunion, which is something that the new girls need to be aware of. Number one. Number two, she did not, if there's people that she did not like, she did not say their names. So it sounds like even when her and K.MICHELLE had their back and forth, had their beef, she's still willing to say K.MICHELLE's names. There was nothing mentioned about Cynthia, Phaedra, or Pinky in this particular interview. So, but she did not say anything about Shamea's name. Oh, she also was asked about what she felt about the obsession with Simon and Simon's house, and that's how they talked about the settlement and everything else. And she said, well, you can't expect one person who did not have a good prenup and another person who has no prenup to come and throw shade. So I think those were digs at Kelly and at Pinky, I believe. Because I believe Pinky said that she does not have a prenup. And Kelly, it sounds like her prenup was not, not favorable to her. So but she did say for production to throw the shade and doing the ghost animations and stuff like that. She said she didn't mind the jokes or whatever the case may be, but she just felt as though like the constant discussion about it and the constant shade about it, it's like it gets to a point. It seems like the show is really trying to push things along and push things forward. It seems like there's just a couple of particular cast members that don't want to do that. That's the vibe that I am getting. I don't think it's production. I think production is actually trying to move stuff along because there's a lot of stuff that's happening with these ladies. But I think in particular, there are a couple of people who want to stay in a certain space of negativity and drama because they think it is going to work out favorable for them and that the person that they have beef with is going to get drugged. But it has backfired in multiple seasons now, and particularly for Kelly and SHAMEA. So I just don't understand, you know what I'm saying, what they think that, you know, season 18 is going to bring if they're on this type of energy. And then the stuff that took place on social media with SHAMEA's cousin and Kelly putting out Angela Oakley's personal information, like, I feel that's the wrong road. I feel that's the wrong road, and that is completely and utterly unnecessary. So with that as well, that is kind of all that I have for this video. I need y'all to do me a favor. I need y'all to do y'all biggest one, and that is to hype the video. Hype the video, please. Hype the video like you never hyped a video before in your life. There is that. That is it. That is all. Es todos es final. Es finito. Es the end the road. Es the end the line for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post the content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.